Hello and welcome to Season 3 of How to Be a Movie Snob. Guys, we're back.
Can you believe it?
Oh,
Everybody came back.
Crazy.
all three of us for Season 3. Three.
Same cast.
Same.
The salary negotiations were dicey at times,
Yeah.
but we all figured it
I
out.
gotta say, your agent is the son of a gun. I tell you what, Pat.
I'm actually going to strike in a few weeks, maybe. Just for fun.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea. We should all strike against each other at the same time. Yeah, I like that. Folks, we got a doozy this week. We got a doozy.
Double doozy.
We're trying something a
Double
little
Uzi.
a double oozy. Edit that out. We are trying a new thing here, and we may do this a lot or not, but we're doing 2 movies in one podcast. That's right, folks. 2 for the price of 1. We're gonna call it the film fight for now, until we think of something cooler.
Until someone says that's a terrible idea.
Yeah, exactly right. This week are 2 movies. You know, first of all, we just gotta start off. Often they do remakes. You know, that's a common thing, right?
People
Heard
are
of this.
inspired.
Yeah. They did. The remake of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, remake of 3:10 to Yuma, remake
Total
of
Recall.
Total Recall. And they're remaking a lot of movies these
Among
days.
others.
But you know what?
Among many others.
Very few filmmakers have the guts, dare I say the cojones, just to straight copy a movie and give no credit to it. But that's the 2 movies we're talking about today.
Without permission.
Without permission. That was the gold that made us want to do these 2 movies. Now, the best part about these is both of these movies are considered on some lists the top 100 movies of all time, which is another doozy of a thing to happen for someone who straight copies another movie.
Yeah.
So we thought, what better thing to do than let's put them up against each other.
Film fight.
Uno versus uno, mono versus mono, sword versus bullet? Yeah, lots of bullets.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Sure. Mariah, what 2 movies are we gonna go head to head today?
We're doing Akira Kurosawa's Yojimbo, 1961, Japanese samurai film.
Boom, boom, boom.
It's crazy that that's as recent as it is.
Yeah.
Right.
Versus Fistful of Dollars, directed by Sergio Leone, released in 1964 abroad and 67 here.
Ooh, that's even crazier. 67 in the States.
Due to some legal
Whew.
hiccups.
Hoo.
Took a little bit to get over.
Little
So
legal-
closely made together.
Yeah.
Very.
It's a very bold move considering you're
And
just
this is
piggybacking
also
right off.
Sergio Leone. This is the first spaghetti western that Clint Eastwood did, giving us the entryway to the Clint Eastwood we know and love today. So
First,
this is,
Yeah, and their first collab.
first big spaghetti western.
That's
they
right.
kind of consider this one of the
forefathers.
yeah.
Forefathers.
I think
It's the big meatball.
it was the most internationally
It's the big
popular
meatball
one.
that got the spaghetti meatballs a rolling. Okay, I apologize
Sure.
to everyone who just had to hear
Sure.
that. That is not
Sorry
good.
about that, guys.
That'll
Lost
only
our Italian
happen
audience.
a couple more times. So let's jump into it. Let's go into the plot. And this is going to be, freedom and freedom. That used to be the Snapple, ring of, I don't know if you guys remember that, the freedom commercials. Do you guys
I
remember those?
remember Snapple.
But you don't remember the freedom and freedom.
I do remember Snapple.
Okay, well, this is
Kiwi strawberry was so good.
how was that?
Wait, do we? Apologies for inside baseball here. Are we not doing hot takes?
Oh, so our hot takes were in, folks, for those of you regular listeners, we get it. You need the hot takes and cold brews because we have our cold brews and we're ready for hot takes. However, I don't want to give away which ones we like better yet because
that
the
would be
3
my
of
hot
us
take.
would be already giving away too much. So I'm going to hold off the hot take because I don't trust Mariah
The film
to
fight
give
would
away
start too fast.
to give away the ending, which is the superior version of Yojimbo, because it's both Yojimbo. In fact, what they call this? What they call the Fistful of Dollars in Japan?
Pat.
Return of Yojimbo, I believe.
But they're like, man, he does not look the same. I tell you what, I saw Yojimbo the first one. They must have recast because this does not feel the same.
Oh, I do. What?
So you're telling me this is a sequel? Man, this makes Tokyo Drift look way more legit than Fast and Furious.
Well, what
series.
year did the actual Yojimbo sequel come out?
Yeah, because there was an actual sequel.
Because how close were those two? Like, how back to back to back are these movies?
Yojimbo had it going on.
Mm-hmm.
Because
I'll look that up.
all right, we're gonna
I'll get the research team on it.
that.
The
Okay.
second in the no name.
In the meantime, let's do a little bit of plotting.
Let's find a plot.
Let's find a plot. Because guess what? There's only one. 2 movies, 1 plot. Again, it's
The similarities are
ridiculous.
doozerific.
A man comes walking into town, and it's a bad town run by 2 different
Gangs.
less than above the law organizations. And he finds himself in the middle, ready to make a buck.
A fistful of dollars.
Fistful of yen.
Yeah.
Depending where you're at. And so he, joins a couple of them, goes back and forth, plays them off each other, and
I'd say-
eventually,
Yeah, I'd say he comes off as an opportunist.
yeah.
He's like, hey, these guys are fighting. I'm going to make some money here.
I see why Sergio Leone did what he did now, because I think he's kind of an opportunist in this situation as well.
Indeed.
He kind of related to Yojimbo. He's
This
like,
is very meta.
I could do
Opportunity knocks.
I could play this off against each other.
Yeah.
End of the day, does he kill all the gang members?
Oh,
No.
he lets them kill each other first.
That's right. They kill each other
And then he takes
first.
the rest.
And then he takes the rest, and lots of stuff to be had, and he's a very sought-after person.
But he
and-
does some good stuff.
Yeah, no. Definitely a good anti-hero. Beginning of the... This is not the first anti-hero movie, but it's definitely one
As
of the
the
early
tavern
ones.
owner
Yeah.
says, you're a good guy.
You're a good guy.
Research team got back to me,
Mhm.
and Sanjuro, which is
Yes.
the sequel to Yojimbo, was done in 1962.
He'd already done the second one. Oh.
Yeah.
So they done 2 of them before the Sergio Leone stole the first one. That's
Wow.
even better. Oh, that's
It's a
great.
busy decade.
Ah, sweet goodness. All right, let's dive in. Okay, we watched these both in 1 week, folks. So they're fresh on our brains. Which ones did you guys watch first?
Yojimbo.
Yeah.
Yojimbo.
Sam, you had to. Anything stick out or surprise you about watching this? Because we have all seen, all 3 of us, folks, and we assume you at home as well, because you've watched every
You
movie
haven't
that
missed
we
an
watched,
episode.
obviously. Because we watched 7 Samurai last year, which again is the basis for the Magnificent 7, which may have to come up again later, but we'll talk about that.
And many action movies.
And The Bug's Life.
Of
I
its
mean,
ilk.
we could talk about it all day long. What were your feelings when you guys were watching Yojimbo? Kind of to feel a little memory lane with the old Kurosawa here?
Very much so for me. It brought back a lot of memories of all the good characters from Seven Samurai. There are some good characters in this Yojimbo version.
Yeah, and it did feel, because this came out almost a decade later. 54 is when Seven Samurai came out. Also,
Wow.
this is a whole lot shorter. So I do have to say the editing, whew,
Yeah.
thank you for cutting a little bit of that out there.
Little clearer, little shorter.
Yeah, for sure.
I was a little. It took me a bit because I was like, wait, this guy, the lead. I've seen him before. Who was he in Seven Samurai? Of course, he's
Mhm.
the crazier samurai Kikichuri, or can't remember how to say his name. I was sort of surprised, not to give away too much for both movies. There's a real low budge quality at times to these things, where just the camera moves weren't as good as I thought Seven Samurai had.
Oh, interesting.
Even some of the blocking just wasn't as good. Like Seven Samurai was like an amazing graphic novel looking thing come to life.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't get the same vibes in Yojimbo. It was a little flatter, just a little, like it didn't feel as refined, which is
Okay.
interesting because it was, as you said, like 7 years later.
I feel like Kurosawa's more inspired by westerns for this one. I feel like he
give
was
and take
taking
at this
like from
point.
Shane
Mhm.
and what was the other one that he really liked before doing this? Another western. Maybe it was that he was losing a little more of his own
Yeah.
juices.
Blasphemy. But no,
Well, I mean,
chicken or
But
the egg.
to your point-
sort of conversation. Yeah.
the cast of characters, the interesting moment to moment, like we're playing this thing as comedy, even though there's a lot of like kind of horrific things happening.
Yeah.
Things like tonally shifting like on a dime is so interesting in his movies. And even like how the soundtrack plays against some of that stuff too. It's like it becomes so unexpected a lot of the time because of that, to me, where it'll be like, oh, a different soundtrack and this scene is so different.
You
But
don't
you're
have that
like,
guy banging,
no, it's kind of like
banging the drum. It would be very different.
Yeah. So it was a trip revisiting Kurosawa.
Yeah. Man, it made me want to do his latest stuff. I really want to see Ran. Like, I really want to see, because this is 10 years later, and we know. Now, this is the other one. This is the other movie, though, that's always on the top 100 list. This is always on there.
Yeah.
And it's usually lower than Seven Samurai, and probably for good reason. Seven Samurai was kind of inspiration for so many Westerns, and then that's good. That's interesting whether or not he's influencing Westerns or Westerns influencing him, or what's going on here.
I think he started getting from both directions at that point.
We got a John Ford, Kurosawa, Sergio Leone little round and circle here.
Maybe.
The other thing that just weirds me out is, one, because it's a period film and it's in black and white, there is this like, how much earlier was this than a bunch of things? It's like, it wasn't earlier, probably. It's 1961.
Yeah.
So it really weirds me out where it's like, unlike Seven Samurai, I feel like this is pulling the format from other stuff.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's sort of funny. He did kind of straight rip a couple other stories that he also didn't credit. Which
Which is
that's
funny
fun.
that he
circles
turned
with some
around
things,
and
but
Do you guys remember what they were? I didn't read that part.
a couple of books.
Glass Harvest or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's the other thing too. Like you can't get too upset or sad about people paying homage, ripping off. It's kind of like yeah.
The only
yeah.
difference is
I mean-
Kurosawa copyrighted this, and so
yeah.
Sergio did not
But
get the permission.
creativity is a mosaic. We're all pulling bits and pieces.
Is that what you tell your lawyer, Pat? Is that what you tell you?
That's what I try to.
Well, and
to.
also in the plot is the same essentially, but the difference to me, if we're comparing Seven Samurai and Magnificent Seven, is Magnificent Seven basically copies the lines. I mean, line
that's
for
crazy.
line for line. Whereas
Same script.
this is different words anyway.
Well, when you got to record it in 3 different languages, I mean that's gonna be hard too.
Yeah, if you're doing Spain and Italy and
We got to talk about Sergio Leone again, guys. If you do not get the good and the bad and the ugly, some things you got to remember about these recordings, these filmings. Sorry, they film it with no sound.
Yeah.
No sound. And I just want to like stress this again because it tripped me out watching it this time, because the whole time I was just thinking, all of this is in post. All of the sounds in post.
Yeah.
I can't believe this is all in post. This is
Jarringly
all ridiculous.
in post.
Yeah.
And then sometimes,
I mean, you feel it.
Oh.
You feel it a lot.
and you definitely, when you know it, it's worse, because
Yeah.
then the whole time you're like, yeah, that wasn't even close.
Yeah.
You were not
Well,
even close on that line.
And knowing Clint Eastwood didn't even do his part till after it was released in Italy. Like it was
What?
after the 64 release did he record his stuff. Like
Yeah, before the 67 release.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really know what was in there before. Just some other voice.
the Italian version, because they
Just
just
the
didn't.
Italian guy?
Why did you need to have?
Apparently.
What's Italian Clint Eastwood sound like? That would have been
Oh,
Yeah,
research
can we
team.
get a
I'm
hold
on
of-
that. Yes,
Can
sir.
we get
You
a
guys
hold of
keep
that?
You keep this going, by the way. That's
I mean, I'm
amazing.
assuming Italian could have been Spanish.
Hanno detto che mi cercavi. Sei morto. Lascia libero il vecchio. Che ti succede, Ramon? Ti trema la mano? O forse hai paura? Al cuore, Ramon. Se vuoi uccidere un uomo devi colpirlo al cuore. Sono parole tue, no?
Okay.
Seth, what was your takeaway from, well, maybe not your takeaway, but you're like revisiting Kurosawa?
Oh yeah, no, I felt like I was trying to remember the feelings I had rather than falling asleep in Seven Samurai, of course, because of the longness. But it
is really long.
The characters, and I actually was thinking the whole time, I'm like, very interesting looking people, and same with Sergio Leone. Like when we both went to both of them, like they just pick weird looking people, and I swear they do it on purpose. Like,
oh yeah.
But I don't think Sergio did it this time.
Not as much as he
I
did.
think Kurosawa really delivered the characters.
The hair tripped me out every time. I'm sorry. What was going on with the hair? Random hair stuff.
The eyebrows.
There's no way that's all like historically correct. I mean, maybe.
No.
But I don't.
No,
I can't see
they
that.
felt the bald caps and things. It was It was all over the place.
Yeah.
It was full of character.
I don't like how much I appreciated Sergio Leone's version. I don't like it at all because I pretend that I am more of an Asia cinema guy, which I don't think I am wholeheartedly. I am very much certain directors I love, but I was just thinking, but this is the copy. But man, it's way more watchable.
I do not agree.
And that's where I was like, this is where hot takes are coming, folks, because we're jumping into it right now. But if you ask, like, what did I think about it? I'm like, I liked that main actor. I liked what he did. He doing his thing. He commanded the screen like he did before.
Oh, yeah, Mifun's great.
He was great. The plot was great. The barkeep was really good. The tavern guy, I was like, okay, I'm with you the whole time. And the wife, the wife who just always wanted to betray him all the time. I thought that was great. I was like, yeah, these are great characters. Boom, baby, boom. And I actually thought about, remember the peasant scene in Seven Samurai where like, let's just all die? So I was really hoping that they were all going to run away in Sergio Leone's like they did in that scene in Yojimbo. They're like literally just going back and forth. I thought that goofiness, I'm like, this is great. This is what makes, like, you couldn't do this with Western cinema most of the time because we wouldn't be able to take it serious.
I wish you could, though.
Oh, I wish you could.
I think that's
Cartoons
the crazy
are
part.
The only thing we do with it.
Mm-hmm.
Where literally, like, the plot is these rival family gangs are murdering basically all the good citizens. They kidnapped this poor guy's wife,
halting
and are
the
assaulting
economy
her every night.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
and
that comment in that movie, I was like, this is that's where the movie just hit hard. I'm like, holy crap, they just said that. I'm like, that's
while the husband and the son live across the street.
Yeah, most of the movie is played for comedy.
Yeah,
I would argue it's not a serious movie, but there is serious content in it. Mm-hmm. Like every now and again, you go, "Well, now I'm going to take this seriously." But most of the time,
well, and in Yojimbo too, there's prostitutes. I mean, there's like the whole brothel.
Oh yeah, there's the brothel. Yes. Yeah, it's like not a good situation.
And they do a musical number.
Yeah.
It's a very
Short one.
serious topic with the, but again that happens more. I feel like we've had this conversation about Asian movies
Yes. I
in
think we talked about
general,
in Seven
where
Samurai,
it gets
just
so
swings.
serious and then so goofy, while Western movies usually do not do the goofy and
It's
the
all
serious.
dark or all goofy
Yeah.
or
Like they'll have a
Yeah.
serious comedy moments where they have those, like, the guy's sitting on the toilet and it's going to blow up, and also like son gets killed by a drive-by shooting. So we have those sort of things, but and I wonder if like someone from Asia would be like, why would they put both those in this? I just wonder like what differentiates that. But then I also wonder, what is the genre for this in Japanese, like, cinema culture? Is it a comedy shoot 'em up? So to
Action
speak?
comedy.
Action comedy
Right.
with serious moments?
yeah.
Or is it a, because then Sergio Leone is like, it's unapologetically a Western funny, but it's not the same. It's like, it's an action.
Not the same. It's not
No.
like the characters are really heightened in Kurosawa stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like cartoon characters.
Yeah, very much.
And there are definitely some more extreme characters in Fistful, but like not like the town constable /
Yeah, that's right.
town crier, whatever he is.
You make
He
sure
came
everybody
out and
knows
it was
when
like,
it's 2 in the morning. You make sure
Yeah,
everybody
what
knows when
is
it's
this
midnight.
I believe it was 3 a.m.
3 a.m.
Yeah, whatever time it was. But I was like, what is happening? Well, and
See-
then the first shot you get this dog trotting
Walking
through town
around with a hand.
That was so
that was
gruesome.
And I think the
Awesome.
music's kind of like doo, 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 like it's not played to be serious.
Well, and he's up there on
It's
the
like,
top of
we're
the
gonna
tower,
sounds
just
crazy.
laughing and
Yeah.
laughing
Oh
at
my
everybody.
gosh,
The
that's right.
arms tucked in all the time. It's
Could you do that? You couldn't do that in color. Like, does a black and white
No.
give them more freedom to be goofy?
probably.
Yeah. I mean, and even when there is blood, right, it's not the same. Although the blood, maybe
In
it's okay. We're
Fistful,
jumping back and forth, or I'm jumping back.
It's
The
so
jump in Fistful is just
unbelievable.
red paint,
It's terrible.
and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like, that's a choice.
Yeah.
That's a choice.
Yeah. I felt like the gunfights were better than the sword fights, but the blood in the black and white was way better.
Oh, the gunfights
Than
were
the
way
color.
better than the sword fights. They cut away half the time, like the blade hit them.
Yeah.
like
I was really
I was
confused
kind of
about
bummed by
where
that.
people were getting hit.
the
at.
first 3 kills.
Yeah.
I'm like, why I missed everything? I don't understand.
Only some of them had blood, and when they did, they'd had a lot of blood.
Oh,
When there was
yeah.
any blood, it was like all over. The
Well, yeah,
face, and then-
especially what's
But
his
most of
face.
the time, there was no blood.
What's his face as he's dying? It's just like filling the road, and he's still talking.
yeah.
He's
Oh,
still
it's so
talking
true.
to.
It just
Like, I have
pulled
a
up.
few more
Oh, it's
things
so
to
true.
say before I go.
Oh, it's so good. Okay. So we got this. Let's jump to
man.
Sergio Leone. Let's talk about this. We have been already, but was this very disappointing since we've watched? Is this our third of his we've watched?
It's your third. I've only watched 2.
Oh, because you
on the
didn't
podcast.
watch
Good, Bad, and the
The
Ugly.
Good, Bad, and the Ugly. Yeah. So this is the third one we've talked about on the podcast. Mariah, would you say this is the worst of the 3?
Yeah.
Okay. No, think about it. No, wait. No, think about it.
It's
no.
terrible.
No.
Terrible.
It's terrible.
My hot,
Wow.
my
It's
hot,
terrible.
my hot take
Jeez
was that the
Louise.
only part of it that I actually was like, well, this is better than Yojimbo is the whole Clint Eastwood sabotaging everything, like setting up like the rolling barrels down
Nice,
and
classic.
like the hiding, like that is all great. There's more like explosions and sneakiness, like he's just getting away with some funny stuff and really getting them. I felt like that part with the booby trappy kind of stuff, that was better. The rest of it, meh.
Wow.
See, I disagree.
Yeah,
I don't know. Gloves off. I think I think they cleaned up so much stuff from Yojimbo in Fistful. Like, there's so much exposition at the beginning of Yojimbo. Like, the first he goes in the tavern, and the guy's talking for like an hour going,
It's so true.
here's this character, and here's what they're all about. And then here's this character, and here's what they're all about.
I just
Show, don't tell.
see. I was all for. I was like, yeah, give me the back. Like he was like the gossipy, like bartender
They're just
guy.
looking out the windows.
I loved all
and
that,
I'm
like
worried about
lifting
them
First of
up,
all,
lifting up.
It was
all
the
the
walls.
time.
It was not just the
They were
windows.
walls.
It was the
he was
walls.
separating
Yeah.
the walls.
The walls.
Pretty crazy because you could like slide them and tuck them in. It was very interesting contraptions.
I must
But
have
I
just
thought,
been
like,
in the mood for characters.
what are we
Because that's
doing
what I
here?
got with Yojimbo. That was it delivered for me.
First of all,
There was characters.
first of all,
So that
I'm glad that you liked Yojimbo
Better
more
characters.
Than it. Yeah, I like
Better.
It. You did.
the wife of the other gang was way
yes,
better
she
in Yojimbo.
was agreed.
The
Agreed.
sons were better in Yojimbo. Like the other son was way more cowardly, and like I loved that piece of it. And he
that didn't really
played
come
his
across
part
in-
well. Yeah, the
Yeah,
other
they
one was
didn't
just
come
like
across as like,
just like weird slow walker guy who just walked across to the other side and got slapped. Nothing else happened with him.
right.
Yeah, he
feel
just
like
kind
there-
of looked.
There were just duds in Fistful of Dollars, I thought.
I agree. But in terms of like establishing what's going on,
I'm not gonna lie, Pat. I thought the exact same thing. Only I was on the other side. I'm like, he's got a lot more to say. Why hasn't he started? Like what's
Yeah,
going
yeah.
It's like, why aren't you telling him
hasn't
all this
explained
stuff
the rest of the
like
plot.
you did in the other one? Come
I
on.
was like, wait, a lot more is going on. We know. I'm like, oh, you're actually
Yeah.
showing it. Oh,
Yeah, he
I guess
didn't
you could
have
do
as
that.
much personality. I do think the coffin maker was pretty good in Fistful of Dollars.
nice. Yeah.
Maybe it was
Oh,
just
yeah,
because
he
he
was
was so
great.
old or
and
something.
just a big beard, and
Yeah.
just a good looking character.
See, we got a character. That
There we
was
go.
he
We got
might
a
have been the
character.
best character.
And let's be honest, though, Mariah. Like Clint Eastwood killed it in this movie. Like
he's the same guy in
But this is
every
the
movie.
first
So
time we
much.
saw him. This is the first
Yeah,
time you see him. So for me,
No, we saw him in Bonanza or whatever.
But he
first.
wasn't this guy.
He wasn't
the
this
man
guy.
with no
No,
name.
he wasn't like. So for me, as soon as Clint went on screen, I'm like, that's a movie star. I'm in. I'm
What did
down.
What did
They
Sergio
do this
Leone
great-
famously say? His two expressions are hat on and half hat off.
Yeah. I
Oh my
and
gosh.
I agree, but man, they're two great expressions. And then actually before, and I'm jumping way ahead too, before the big shootout at the end, is it the end one? I forget. He's standing there and like you see him kind of squinting, and then his face drops a little bit, like it's more serious. And it's the smallest thing, and you're like, hell yeah. Come on. Like,
But you didn't. Did
you're
you
just
not
gonna
think?
murder everybody.
Did you not think Sanjuro did the same thing though? Like, wasn't he a
It's
great
different.
lead? I mean, I feel like he did a great.
He was a great lead. A huge part of it, though, is, Sergio does these crazy close-ups,
Mhm.
and I mean, Clint's face just works so well for that style of filmmaking. That like, there's just to me, there's a lot going on in very little. I think with Clint Eastwood, like I feel a storm coming, and also he's really funny.
Yeah.
He was funny.
Well, and
in this.
and I think he talked Sergio into that smaller,
Yeah, cutting a lot
less,
of dialogue.
Yeah, way
Yeah,
less
way less.
lines, and
Which
so it
is
was
brilliant.
intentional. I mean, I appreciate it. I
Yeah,
just
so-
feel like as a whole. Sorry.
Okay.
That's fine.
No, it's great.
No, so the
Mariah,
other
I
thing,
love your opinion. I am
You
mad
just
at myself.
unfortunately can't
I
agree
know.
this time.
I'm not gonna lie. You know why? Because
It's okay.
Pat, because
It's okay to be wrong.
Pat
fine.
is wrong, but I unfortunately, when I felt the things I felt, I enjoyed Fistful more, and I hate that I
See,
enjoyed it more.
I fell asleep in Fistful.
Well, I fell asleep in both, but that's not the point. The point is,
You just can't start movies after 7.
no, and I
That's
shouldn't
the
drink
thing.
beer after 10. So there's a lot of there was a lot of
AM.
equations going on. You know what? A lot of things. I'll let the viewer
10
decide.
a.m. somewhere.
Yeah. So all of those things, like I couldn't believe how engaging Clint Eastwood was for just what little he did. I couldn't believe that. That was very surprising.
Yeah.
But also, I'm gonna go a little back facts. The people that were approached to do this movie.
Oh, that's
Can we
crazy.
talk about this? Because it's hilarious.
Can.
Charles Bronson was the second choice,
He was too expensive.
and he said no because he didn't want to do it, and then ended up doing it later. The person before that, do you remember the
Henry
first one?
Fonda, right?
Henry Fonda, who also was
Ends
with
up-
Charles Bronson in Once Upon a Time in the West.
Yep.
And I thought that was hilariously.
They were like, "Ooh, that might have been a
"Ooh,
good
my
idea."
bad. Oh my goodness, that could have been me.
I'll
could have been
do the
Clint
next
Eastwood.
one.
Yeah.
Also,
Oh.
Clint Eastwood
and the
did this for
reason-
$15,000.
Yeah.
Was that a
That's
lot?
it.
And the
Little?
reason
That's
he
That's a
did it,
little. That's less than.
Because he had nothing. No one wanted him.
couldn't-
No one wanted him back then. Yeah.
he couldn't film anything on the in the off seasons of
in the U.S.
the
side.
TV show in the
Oh,
States.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
He could
So
only
he
go to
had
Europe.
to take a film,
Yeah.
in Europe.
Brilliant.
and it was like, well, worst case, I got to visit Italy and whatever and see
Yeah,
what other people
15K.
are doing.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then became an international star for it. So
That's so funny because they
Good deal.
all.
So-
he really wanted Fonda or Bronson. And just got
it felt like
stuck
there was
with him.
5 people before, and they were like,
yeah,
no,
those are
I
the
don't want
two.
to do it. Talk to this guy. Oh, I don't want to do it. Talk to this guy. And it basically went like 5 connections before it got to Clint Eastwood.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like the old Major League Baseball when they would go to Japan for like after they retire, sort of thing. Like,
Yeah, Mr.
oh,
Baseball.
Hey, Mr. Base. Yeah, it felt like Tom Selleck, Mr. Baseball.
Yeah. So I think they cleaned up the need for exposition in Fistful. 'Cause
Ironically,
also, I was
ironically
super
enough, with
confused.
less dialogue by the other characters. too.
Yes, less dialogue. I remember I was like, what's happening for the longest time in Yojimbo, where I was like, I didn't know that was a tavern when he first went. I was like, why is
Right.
he knocking on this old man's house?
I
There-
knew it was
you
at
know,
least
like-
a restaurant, some sort of
I-
eatery.
I could not tell, and he's just like, give me food. Also, all these people giving free drinks and food to folks who can't pay them is very bizarre.
Okay.
kind.
So the part that was, I keep thinking,
No, not kind.
weapons.
Bizarre.
Weapons holding. Yeah, where do we get that?
he already had a lucrative business.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, he didn't.
I think like the cultural notes we don't catch on as quickly as we do in Western, because we know all the Western, like what this is supposed to be. Oh, this is a tavern. Oh, this is the situation. This is
Yes,
the lady.
so-
but in like you wouldn't
Not really
know.
in Fistful though. It wasn't obvious that it was a tavern
Way more obvious.
Well,
Because he
for-
walked in and
because
there's like
you
a
already
bar.
knew it because you'd seen the other one.
And you've been in a lot of taverns, Pat. A lot of taverns.
I've been in a lot of Western taverns and cinema for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was just visual. It just made more sense to me. But when he first went into the tavern in Yojimbo, like there wasn't like a clear establishing shot. I couldn't quite tell what was happening. And the guy didn't seem like he was really serving anything. He was like, I might have some old rice kind of deal, It wasn't.
I'm pretty sure the sign said in Japanese that it was a tavern. If I recall.
Yeah, I missed that part.
Yeah. Why
Also,
didn't you know?
I
that?
had to look up after I watched both movies. What does Yojimbo mean?
Oh, I
'cause
don't-
bodyguard.
never.
I
picked
didn't even look that up.
Yeah.
That's funny. Good for you guys.
Which makes a ton of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I learned it
being
in
the
the
bodyguard the whole
I learned
time.
it in
Wait,
my
wait,
fact
wait.
finding.
So the bodyguard is also a ripoff of Yojimbo? Where?
That's right.
Who's Whitney Houston in this one then? Was that the innkeeper?
She's the coffin maker. I think.
She's the
It would be the kidnapped wives.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Hmm.
Also, actually interesting in both these movies. There's not a love interest situation, which I like.
Mhm.
But you do
It's
kind
like a
of
side
get a
character's got a deal,
questionable
but
vibe from Fistful. That like, is he trying to like?
only slightly. But it kind of felt like, ooh, I'm sorry I punched this lady.
Yo, that's
yeah,
right.
the fact
that's
that
right.
he punches her and knocks her out.
I thought that was going to go somewhere else too. I was like, oh, here we
That
go.
was weird.
Here we go.
And then he's just like,
you guys are
"Ooh."
cool with him punching her in the face.
If junior high has taught
Movie.
me
He didn't
anything,
know it was a lady. He didn't know it was a lady at the time.
he just thought it was a dame.
Oh yeah, I still want to get to the other thing. I think Fistful
Okay,
totally
go.
fixed.
Go.
The
Fix.
family. Again, outside of the super annoying kid, my God, that was horrifying. And like, wasn't an adult dubbing this kid? I don't know. It was the worst thing ever. But the fact that the family, and again, this is an Asian culture thing. The family thanking him is what got him beat up. Bothered me so much. Like, get out of town. He's risking his life for you guys, and you
ruining
screwed it all up by being like, we got to give him this note.
But that's like where
no.
the famous, like I don't have, what did he say? Something like people that are weak or something. And it's like, I kind of want to kill you.
Yeah,
so
make
you
me
better
sick.
leave. Like, go now.
You make me sick.
Yeah.
And then it was kind of like no good deed goes unpunished is what I felt like in Yojimbo was like the lesson, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Which is true,
but
kids.
So to me, in the
Remember
new
that.
one, it was like, okay, cool. Like Clint Eastwood just kind of got caught. That's fine. I think that just felt better from a story perspective because Yojimbo was like, I hate this family. I hate them all. They're the worst.
He just
And
he just really
they got our
wanted to get
hero.
back at the son guy who had her captive. He just liked him so much that he wanted to reunite this family. Like, that's the thing. That's why he was motivated to do it in Yojimbo, I think. But in
he liked who so much?
he hated
He didn't
the
like the
son
husband.
of the gangster guy, the one that was keeping her
Oh,
hostage.
yeah.
It was to get
mean-
against him. It wasn't really about, oh, I love this family so much and I want to help them.
Oh no. I don't think he liked the family really
No.
either. And rightfully so. They screwed him over bad.
Actually, in Fistful, that's the version that explains that situation. Whereas in Yojimbo, you don't know why she's there, other than they just like. I feel like you get less of an explanation.
They
I feel
tell
like-
you at some point pretty directly because then they're like,
Well,
and
we
he
know-
lives in the house next door. They had to listen
Yeah.
to his
Well,
wife
we
get
know it's
ravaged every night.
Well, we know it's his wife and his son, but other than that, there's not like there's more of an explanation
Did
in
they-
Fistful, I think.
One of the funny parts in Yojimbo
The
was
kid
like,
was better in Yojimbo. The kid was better in Yojimbo. The family was better in Fistful. Is my takeaway.
And maybe I
Sorry,
like
Steph, what was you saying?
Yojimbo more too, is because there's a dog.
Oh, that's true. There's a dog.
Might have been holding a hand. Still,
There was a cat that was very scared in Fistful.
yeah,
Really awful sound it made running out of that room.
not a cat person.
I don't
dog.
even know.
Which they had to ADR some cat sound, which again was probably
Yeah.
some guy.
This cat sounds awfully Italian. We're
So-
gonna-
It's like search for the Holy Grail. What are we talking about?
I don't know.
Movies?
Animals.
Cats.
Animal loving.
No, I was gonna go back to the comment. They made a comment in Yojimbo that I was hoping they were gonna make it. Half the time I was just like hoping they make the same comments. Like he married.
If you're gonna copy, you might.
She
as well
was just too
copy
pretty
it.
for him. He should have
Oh, yeah,
never
yeah.
married her because she's just too pretty for him. And I'm like, oh, please do this. And the other one, I can't wait to hear
What's
this.
that 50s song?
Yeah.
If you
You
want
ought to be happy for the
Definitely-
rest of your life.
Kurosawa does better sad sacks, right? Like, which is almost every non-main character is a sad sack of some kind, right? The villagers.
I relate
They're
to all of
just-
them.
I
I
loved it.
relate to
Loved
all
all
of
of
them.
The unibrows and
Yeah.
the sad sacks.
And the hair pieces gone
So good.
sideways.
It's really it's heightened. I mean, I think it's the fun thing where it's like, this is a movie. This isn't real. Like, let's go.
Are
nuts.
we the sad sacks? And Pat's like the one who's
We
like,
identify with
yeah,
the
we
sad
identify
sacks.
with the sad sacks.
I really
They
felt,
seem normal to me, Pat.
yeah.
What are you
And I
saying?
I need more unfeeling hero types, I guess.
That's true.
I can see that.
You're not
yeah.
wrong there.
Yeah.
And I think maybe I think this is why I like Yojimbo more is because in Seven Samurai, the parts that were so appealing to me, yes, it was great cinematography and yada, 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 good movie. But I loved that it was so character driven. I loved the personalities. I loved that it was so diverse. And I think Yojimbo delivered that. And I don't think Fistful did deliver that. There wasn't enough characters for me.
And
and there is in Magnificent Seven. And there's...
Here's the thing, guys. We need to come back to the most important thing. Pat is dead inside.
Yeah.
And Mariah has feelings. Like, that's what we just need to keep coming back to. Like, we need to think about these movies.
And the animator doesn't appreciate characters, I guess. So...
Or animated characters. He doesn't appreciate.
Hey,
the
there was
characters.
animation in Fistful in the intro credits, which felt like it was rotoscoped as like cutouts.
I was actually kind of stoked about that. I'm like, this is awesome.
Good. That was solid, but that's not really the movie.
Although it felt like scenes that didn't happen in the movie. There's so much horse
sure.
riding. And there's like no horse riding in the movie, really.
No.
And it was like, what did you get these shots from that you're rotoscoping? Apparently, it was based off. They're like, James Bond's doing something like this. Let's do it. I think I think the interesting thing with comparing the movies is this is like an early Sergio Leone kind of figuring stuff out version. So it is crappier than his other ones. Yojimbo is way late in Kurosawa's stuff. This is well after Seven Samurai. And to me, it's a worse movie. So I feel like they're going in the wrong direction using the same.
I agree with that.
I think because he let himself be influenced by
crappy American
the American Western genre.
We ruined everything.
But man, they both have iconic shots in this. It actually weirded me out at first, and I kind of came to love it, and then it made me appreciate the poncho and Fistful. The arms in the kimono thing, everyone's hiding their arms. And they're doing so like your arms can come out the sleeves on the side. Why are you constantly in here? You literally fight with a sword.
Yeah.
They're not fighting with a sword out their neck hole, but they do everything else. And the gun coming up through every time is like, what weirdo
that guy
that
guy was all weirdo things.
You want to see my gun?
Yeah.
I
feel naked without my
unsettled by
gun.
this.
I have the only gun in this movie.
I always think of 1975 Saturday Night Live, Belushi. He's got the samurai,
which is based off of this.
100%. It's because he does. That's the first time I've seen someone like scratch his neck
overly get
inside
into the
it
kimono.
and then go back into it. I'm like, that's what Belushi just. Oh, that's why it's funny. I just finally got it. Finally.
Yeah. Had we known at the time,
I know we watched Seven Samurai first. Yojimbo
would have appreciated it
so
more.
Our samurai walking down the street in the wind, armless at the end, dope. Super dope. And then similarly, like to me, Sergio Leone, I mean, anything you think of a cowboy shot is a Sergio Leone shot in my mind. Like those tight close-ups.
John Ford too, though.
I mean, kind of, yeah, but I think there's like the heightened version of it, I think. And honestly, Clint Eastwood standing there is like what a lot of people think of as like a cowboy. But the poncho blowing in the wind, again, no hands sticking out. That felt like an homage, like just a visual homage of like, we're going to have our armless hero walking the street. It's so good. That stuff, I'm like, oh gosh.
I think it just exemplifies like the confidence they have. Like, I don't have to be ready at all times. Like, I'm so good. I'm just going to be relaxed until I need to do something. So like, I don't need arms. I don't need them. I'm just going to walk around, stroll.
Scratch myself through my neck.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's going on today? You know?
We'll never know.
All right.
It wasn't in the fun facts.
Do we have any more fun facts before we give our diagnosis? And
we have lots of fun facts. I think.
Please go. Let's do the fun facts, guys, because we kind of already shown our hand, so to speak, with which ones we prefer.
I think we all kind of blew that one out of the water.
It's hard not to when you talk about the movie, eh?
Yeah.
Oh, a thing I loved actually about Yojimbo was like one of the last lines he tells like Hansuke, the constable or
Yeah.
whatever. He's like, "Go hang yourself." Like, I'm not gonna deal with you, but you go hang
Yeah.
yourself. And he's like, "Oh."
Yeah. Well, I also like the whole like spread of dead bodies when he is quoted as like, "Well, the town's quiet now." Just strewn with corpses.
Oh yeah, just the weird, sick. The coffin maker's happy, but not too many dead people. That's not good for business.
Oh that was one of
Nuts.
the things he said. When there's this many bodies, there's no need for coffins. Like, you should be happy. This is
Yeah.
great
Yeah.
business for you. One thing I
So
did find was cool though.
Oh.
Sorry, I'm interrupting you.
Do it. Do it.
No,
And then I'm gonna
I
let you
interrupt
take it.
you probably all the time. So interrupt me.
We'll say yes, you do, but I don't know. So Kurosawa told the two guys, good guy and the bad guy,
Oh yeah.
that Sanjuro's character was like a wolf or a dog, and that Tatsuya, the guy with the gun, was more like a snake. And so Sanjuro developed that twitch, where he's walking around and he's twitching all the time, like a dog with fleas. Like, that's why he was trying to.
Crazy.
That's why he had the twitch.
Huh. Well, good little director note
did-
there.
Yeah.
Nice little director.
We
note.
did get snaky gun arm.
Yeah, snaky gun arm guy.
Oh, there
That's
we
true.
go.
We don't need arms
For those
if
of
we're
you
a cobra.
just
My
listening,
prop.
Pat brought out his popper. It's a gun, but it's
It's
not
got
a gun.
orange on it, so it's
I
fake.
think it has
I
tape,
know. It's still.
so you know it's fake.
Yeah. He also.
It
paints
is
his
a
hunting rifles.
airsoft gun,
Oh,
Oh.
nice.
What is
so
that?
it could shoot a thing, but I don't have CO2. Yeah, I do love that kind of stuff, and I think that is the appeal. To your point, Mariah, about just the characters. It felt like everybody in the movie was an animal of some kind in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know which animal,
A beaver,
but, like,
a badger,
pig, and,
Honey
you know,
badger?
pig. Yeah, honey badger maybe was the younger brother.
He was the whole, like, he's real tough, huh? Like, just how much they liked him.
Yeah.
The both cowardice of everybody in the movie. Maybe that was kind of a weird thing too. I don't know. Gosh, it's such a weird movie that probably shouldn't work in a lot of ways, but it does.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So a couple fun facts. So on the score side, Kurosawa gave his composer a week to score the film,
Mm-hmm.
and on the other side, Ennio Morricone's score was done before the movie was shot.
Yeah.
So very different versions of doing that. I thought that was fun.
So I assume I assume that means did they play it on set then? So they like kind of timed it out right?
I think maybe. I mean, I didn't actually see that, but I did see that Sergio would just have longer. He'd keep his shots going longer, so the music could play out more.
Yeah,
Just 'cause
I
he
think
liked
he
the
liked
score so much.
Yeah, he wanted to make everything a little.
That's funny.
Drag
Where
out.
I felt like in Yojimbo, sometimes the music just was like, man, over. Like,
Yeah.
we're done with that scene. So
Yeah.
like,
And I
there's
think that
really harsh edits.
And I think they said that composer for Kurosawa was inspired a lot by Henry Mancini.
Oh
And
wow.
after the
Yeah.
movie came out, he
Oh,
actually
wow.
got to meet with him, and they kind of
Cool.
like shared thoughts on the
Nice.
whole thing.
And I didn't actually know anything Henry Mancini done, but he did all the Pink Panthers.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So if you just kind of think about that
Yeah.
jazzy,
How funny is
Vibe.
Dun-dun.
the
Bang,
other
bang.
fun thing,
that?
Little combo.
Clint Eastwood, well, because the show is so low budget, there was no
Also-
doubles of any of the outfits.
Peter
So
Gunn
Eastwood's-
as well. Do. Sorry.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, good stuff.
that's fine, Seth. It's fine. I'm just
Baby
saying
Elephant
fun
Walk,
facts.
A Shot in the Dark. Sorry, keep going. Yeah.
Next.
Clint Eastwood, half of his wardrobe he took from, is it Bonanza? What was he on? Like his gun belt and gun were from the TV show. He brought his own jeans. His boots were from the show. Like the poncho they just bought in Italy or something. But like it's this very scrappy. Like I'll just bring my own stuff.
Yeah.
For this, no budget movie.
Yeah.
So funny.
Well, they didn't even have bathrooms on site. They like had to run out into the desert and go.
Ugh,
like there
that's
was
awesome.
there was like nothing.
That's so great.
Which
love these
says a
little
lot
budget
because he got
movies.
paid, $15,000. I mean, it's 1960 something. It could have got maybe a little bit more. That speaks to the budget and the fact that you couldn't afford the other guys who wanted like 25,000.
Yeah, but he got a Lamborghini in the next one, so it's fine.
It's okay.
It's fine.
Another thing I just want to bring up because I loved it so much is just a weird little quirky thing in Fistful. When Clint Eastwood's trying to see into the wagon, which that had gold in it, apparently.
Yeah,
He goes and he
right.
looks
So
at the
weird.
horse's eye.
That was
And
brilliant.
he kind of goes, And the other guy's like, wait, what?
Yeah, that was brilliant. That was so
Let
great.
me look at his eye.
Yeah, I thought that was such a weird, dumb, but amazing. Like it would work.
Oh, totally
You'd be
would
like,
work.
oh, what's this
yeah.
guy seeing with my horse's eye?
Oh,
And
no,
he seems
pink
really...
eye. Oh.
Well, yeah, if that's your mode of
Yeah, like, oh,
transportation,
boy.
it's not like your
Right?
car. You gotta. If your
Checking out-
horse is
checking
sick,
out
you
the
should
tire.
probably look into this.
Check on the tire. Ooh.
Yeah. Ooh.
I just thought it was
Ooh.
such a good random thing other than like, let me throw a rock and get a guy to look, like
Yeah.
it just felt so like what a unique choice. I loved it so much.
That's amazing. Okay, any more facts from you guys before we could do our final diagnosis of
he
who
was in
wins?
Rawhide. Sorry, not Bonanza.
Rawhide,
yeah,
not
yeah.
Bonanza. Yes, Rawhide.
Oh, I'm so embarrassed.
Rawhide.
All right.
Also, speaking of movies referencing other movies, Fistful, inspired, of course, Back to the Future 3.
Oh yes, 3. I was
As
like-
Marty,
I was like, 1 and 2. How?
yeah, Marty did the exact same thing and called himself Clint Eastwood.
Yes.
Not
Oh,
when he was
that's
in the Wild
that's
West.
so great.
And Yojimbo inspired Star Wars.
Yes.
There you go.
Well, the crappiest of all the Star Wars.
Yeah.
The
but
crappiest of all the Star Wars. And
That
I'm
was
saying
actually-
that I hate the prequels, but still the well, it was only the second one, right? It wasn't the third one. The second of the newest 3, right?
It was Return of the
It was
What are you talking
Empire. Which Star Wars was it that Yojimbo inspired?
it was the new 3, not the first one, but the second one. Wow, we're not our Star
The
Wars
Last Jedi.
fan base, huh? What is it? Last Jedi, yes.
about? The Last Jedi.
Yes, that's the Yojimbo
Yeah.
quote unquote ripoff.
Yeah.
Which part?
It's not
I don't
the
know,
same
but George
thing.
Lucas
I'll
really
be
liked
honest.
Yojimbo.
Well, yeah, not George Lucas, but Mark.
No, George Lucas really did.
Oh yeah, for sure. But
Of course.
supposedly, like Luke Skywalker was like the big cloak and wearing that, and the whole. Anyways, I was like,
well, yeah, windy. Yeah, the windy walkout, maybe.
yeah, but I was like, really?
Yeah, that's a very loose. I mean, it is visually distinct, right? The sand
for sure.
blowing around, and armless hero walking the street, pretty dope.
Yeah,
I'm
and he
actually
is
speaking of that
armless.
other scene too. Did you guys think of Dumb and Dumber when you're like, what if he shot you in the face?
Oh yeah, that's true. It's like, but he's like egging him on, like you got to get me in the heart.
Yeah, you gotta hit him in the heart.
But then you look at that shield, and it's like that wasn't really covering very much,
Oh,
and you
it's
had
so
it like
funny.
And,
way
yeah,
all
it was
cockeyed.
really high up.
Yeah,
It's so funny.
like
What
What if he shot you in the face?
That
Yeah, what
was
if he
a
shot me in the face.
bold move. There was a chance it was
Yeah,
really
that's all I
good
thought
take.
of today.
That's good.
Shot you in the face.
Oh, that's only been copied 1,000 times in 1,000 ways.
Mm-hmm.
Is this
I think that's
first
all I
movie.
got for now.
For now, okay. Part 2 coming up next week, folks.
Because actually, I just thought that leaf trick he does in Yojimbo when he's training,
Mm.
getting back to his old self. He's throwing the knife at the leaf. That's just a shot in reverse. It's just a shot in
What?
reverse.
No, Pat. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Don't
He didn't
say
really
that.
hit the leaf.
Don't
Because you
say
can
that.
see the slit in the leaf
Don't say that, Pat.
before it gets hit. That's
Next-
little movie magic.
Next thing you're gonna tell me is that scene in Three Amigos isn't real. I do my own stunts. Nobody's that fast. El Guapo.
So good.
Okay, here we go. Folks, this is what you've been waiting for. Fight to the finish. What is the better version? Pat.
With a big, huge asterisk that Fistful can't exist without Yojimbo, I enjoyed watching Fistful more than Yojimbo.
So which one is better?
And I honestly felt like they had equal amounts of like janky filmmaking, and
Yes.
I
Nice.
forgive Fistful for it way more than I do Yojimbo.
Wow,
Why?
that's racist.
Because
Italians.
Sergio, like, Fistful is such a scrappily made movie. Like, they did it for no money
12 different
with
languages.
a bunch of languages, a bunch of yokels, like just trying to do whatever.
No dogs.
And it's an early Sergio Leone movie. And like, it only, like, to me, the dubbing is the only like unforgivable thing. The ADR of that movie is horrendous. As all dubbing is horrendous. If you can ever watch anything in its real language, watch in its real language. Don't dub.
Well, the problem was there was
But
no
then
real
we don't really
language.
have that opportunity.
There was no real English
There's
because they
too
all
many
spoke
different
I
through.
know.
ones.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's all we could have. So
Because they
Fine.
literally all spoke different languages on set. That's the craziest thing about this. And this isn't the only movie to do it. The Leopard did it. There's like all these movies that would do these weird things where they all just speak, and then they just dub it. They just
whatever you
expect
get,
it to dub
whatever
it.
say the line in your language, we'll dub it in all the languages.
Yeah, it won't matter. That's the craziest
What a
filmmaking.
wild acting situation. I don't know what
Oh,
you're saying.
Just nuts. Okay, let's
But
talk.
yeah,
You
like
can't
I think it just
communicate
held
with
up.
the
And
director.
Yojimbo to me was like it should have been better because of all the learnings.
I agree with that one statement you just said and nothing else. It should have been better, but it brought all the characters that I wanted.
I love the character.
That I
Love the
really
character.
loved in Seven Samurai. And as I do like Seven Samurai more, but I do appreciate the fact that this was 2 hours or less. And I thought it was easier to watch for me than Fistful of Dollars. I've seen a lot of Clint Eastwood and it is not my fave. Like,
Him
even
in
though
general.
he was the best thing about the movie, it wasn't my favorite.
I'm having
So
a
there.
really hard time trying to figure out which.
But you
movie is
love
more
Paint Your
expensive.
Wagon.
Of course. He sings in it. Partner.
Seth, wait, what are you doing?
I'm trying to figure out which movie costs more money.
He forgot which movies we watched.
Oh,
So
There's a lot of conversions that didn't happen in the Wikipedia, so I can't tell you who did better.
well, and you have to figure out the conversion back then. So you have to figure
Mm-hmm.
out the conversion because it was $200,000 to make Fistful of Dollars.
sure. How was the dollar doing versus the?
Yeah, but what was
Kurosawa made more getting the 15% though from Fistful than he did
really? Well, that actually
Making
helps
Yojimbo.
me
for
because-
Yojimbo. So I'm assuming that means, but are we talking about US release? Or are we talking about
But you could convert.
Global.
The movies came out basically the same time. You could just use the same conversion rate.
Yojimbo
just
was like
pretend.
the 4th best film in Japan of that year.
Crazy.
So it wasn't like a blockbuster,
That's crazy,
if that helps.
man. Okay, I got
I have no accurate numbers at all.
interesting, huh? So it would seem like because even the wiki like they haven't done the like it made $2 million box office, but it cost 96 million yen.
Yeah, that's what I was like. I don't know what that means. So
Oh
is it
my
a
gosh.
scratch? I don't know.
12, 1,000, 2,000. Okay, that's gonna be rough. Okay, I got some work to do later. Okay, we'll deal with that later. So
Ultimately, Fistful of Dollars was more successful commercially
yeah,
than
Well,
Yojimbo.
it's in-
I'm
I
also
think.
it's in color. It's got
But as we go down generation after generation, I think Yojimbo influenced more.
for sure because they wrote it. Like that's the other thing too.
Yeah.
So let's put it this way.
And if you're a purist, you go to the original.
The snobbiest movie is Yojimbo, no question. No question.
Yeah.
Because you
It's
cannot
black
have
and
it.
white.
It's got a dog with a
It's
hand
in
in his mouth.
Japanese.
Japanese.
There's an
It's-
epic unibrow and hair
it's-
pieces.
I've never seen a list where Fistful of Dollars outranks Yojimbo. I have not seen that list.
Well,
So,
and of the Man
wrote
with
it
No
today on
Name
my whiteboard.
trilogy, that's not the best one.
but you ready for this? I still enjoyed Fistful of Dollars more too. And that's what makes me upset because I didn't want to. I wanted to enjoy Yojimbo more. But I was like, I'm like, oh, yep, I'm in. Guns, Clint Eastwood. I am a white.
Guns, Westerns.
I'm a white sack of poo. This is the worst. I'm just another.
I think
I'm so bad.
to
I had to get my pumpkin spice
Fistful
latte.
was also very Mexican.
And then, actually, what's basic now? I don't even know. Is basic still a thing? Are we too old? What's the cool? What's
Yeah,
your
basic.
kicks?
mid.
You mid? I'm so mid. I got my, I got my Stanley mug here, drinking
Yeah.
whatever.
Hey, those are cool.
My bubble
Kids still
tea.
like the cool thing.
I know, right?
So,
yeah,
well, one, I want to slightly take back. It's not like Sergio Leone was new on the block. He just second directed a billion things, including Ben-Hur. So, like,
oh yeah, that's
you could
right.
argue
He knew
you
better.
could argue he should have also been better, but that was his third movie.
Oh, it's still
He only made
dope.
9.
It's
I
still
think-
a dope movie.
I think both movies might be overrated.
Ooh, I like that one.
That's my hot take. In
That
the end,
one-
they're
Honest
both
takes.
Now,
overrated
that
movies.
is a good take. Because
Yeah.
putting them against each other is hard. You kind of I give the edge to Yojimbo because it was first, but doggone it, Sergio
Yeah.
Leone did a good job. But he didn't do a great job. He wasn't like he didn't make like Magnificent Seven versus Seven Samurai. That's like next level on both movies.
Yeah, they're both a bump up.
And so that's where I'm like, okay, well, this is great. And then this is like, wait, this is later and this is worse. Okay, what's going down in this Italian Japanese town? You know what I mean?
I think Yojimbo let me down as a basic
It's a person.
action guy, in that there was like
It's a
kind of
bodyguard.
3 fight scenes in the whole movie.
Yeah.
And all of them lasted like 2 seconds.
It's true.
But they're hilarious.
Yeah.
Hilariously
I-
unrealistic.
I
feel
don't even
like you're not
count
helping
that
your
one
cause,
as a
arms
fight
Mariah.
scene
flopping
where they're just
down into the dirt.
dancing together.
You're not helping your cause, Mariah. I might jump the Yojimbo ship.
Whereas I
Cartoon.
think Fistful
Cartoon.
just had some more. It felt like a little bit more throughout, as far as the action, feeding the action bit. Because you show me a samurai, I want to see him do stuff.
He did.
he
He
kinda
killed
just-
tons of people.
He kind of just was like, I'm gonna think about this.
I'm going to
and
scratch my
gonna-"
neck a little bit.
Well,
Yeah.
they were both thinking about what they were going to get out of it. How do I
Mm-hmm.
make money here?
Yeah.
Let's just watch these guys and mess with them.
For sure.
It's a little like watching water boil.
I'm not gonna lie
Too
though.
much in
If
Yojimbo.
I was, I would suggest to my friends who were not movie snobs to watch Fistful of Dollars. That's what I'd suggest. I'd suggest most people to watch Fistful of Dollars.
I think most of my friends have probably seen Fistful, and I'd be like, but did you watch Yojimbo?
Yeah, no. If you want to be movie snob, you got to
be
watch
like, no.
Yojimbo because it's
you
definitely
should.
snobber. But as we know, snobby doesn't mean better. We're looking at you, Oscars. We're looking at you because come on.
It was actually really fun watching them both, though.
I agree.
Even though this week I was like, I'm really gonna watch these 2 movies.
I like-
And then I was like, hey, this is neat.
I do like the film fight.
Film fight's not bad. Okay, guys. We're gonna give the edge to. Gosh, it's right in the
Undecided.
middle. Undecided. I give the edge to you to.
It's a draw. It's
I
a
don't
draw,
know.
you guys.
This is the weakest.
You both voted against
beginning.
me, so I call it a draw.
Oh my gosh. I think Fistful of Dollars is the one you watch though, guys. And then you just watch clips of Yojimbo and pretend like you watched that one. So watch Fistful of Dollars. Fistful of Dollars wins. It totally wins. Come on, guys. You're not gonna watch Yojimbo anyways. They're both under 2 hours though, which is about freaking time. I can't say that about the Seven Samurai, so I'll go for this one over that. And this gets you into spaghetti westerns, and it gets you into it's just a shorter version of Kurosawa. Mm-hmm. So it's actually not a terrible way to get into both
It's a
genres.
decent example.
Yeah,
of
decent
each,
example.
but
Yeah, I think they're
not
both
but not the best.
approachable.
Not the best.
And it
example.
still felt like Kurosawa, and it definitely felt like Sergio Leone, and it definitely felt like Clint Eastwood. So there you go.
But not either of their best. So yeah, you
No.
should get into it and keep watching, because then you'll be like, "Whoa,
Yeah,
they
if
also
this
did
is-
this."
If this is a
Wow.
C+, then you should watch the other one.
Yeah, that's right. All right. And the winner is We Are Lame, and it's a draw. The dog's barked, so the movie with the dog wins.
Yep.
Yojimbo
Winner!
wins. Yojimbo wins.
Okay.
Oh, there we go. We're just like
What can
every
you do?
every other stupid snobby magazine. Yojimbo wins again. So silly. All right, guys. Well, that's it. This is our first time doing film fight, and the dogs are barking. We're ready to get going. We got some hands in our mouths. No, that's not true. That's too far. It's a Yojimbo thing, guys. You got to go watch it. Thanks for listening, guys. We appreciate your time. Keep watching snobby movies and take one step closer to becoming movie snobs, and keep listening or subscribe. Watch more. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks for listening.
Bye-bye.